The past decade plus of Disney Star Wars under the Lucasfilm leadership of Kathleen Kennedy has been sad and embarrassing, quite frankly. And of course, we've seen so many projects come out that are completely rejected by the fan base, but even more projects that get announced yet never come to fruition. They say, hey, we've got this director, we've got this person, we've got this person. They're going to come in, they're going to do the next thing in Star Wars. And then it all falls apart, either publicly or in private, and it never gets heard from again. Well, even with all of that factored in, and even with the multiple mistakes that they've made very publicly, they were very confident about the Rey movie, confident enough to bring Daisy Ridley and Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, the activist director with no blockbuster experience who's supposed to be directing this movie, up on stage at Disney Star Wars Celebration and saying, hey guys, you know this character that you rejected that you don't want back? Well, guess what? Here she comes. But in the 2+ years since that was announced in 2023, we've heard shockingly little other than writers continue to leave, other than writers continue to turn in scripts that get rejected and you have to move on to somebody else. And it's been a year and a half since we got the big report that this project had been delayed indefinitely as they worked on the script. Well, another Star Wars Celebration later, another time Kathleen Kennedy said, hey, don't worry, we're still working on this thing. Well, now we have headlines like this. Lucasfilm shelves one major upcoming Star Wars movie, according to reports. And of course, yes, we're talking about the Rey movie. Lucasfilm may have shelved Star Wars movie of beloved character. Man, that could not be more of a misreport. Do you think that Rey is a beloved character? Do you think that people are just begging for more Rey Skywalker? After the reception, right? There was a lot of excitement when Star Wars came out with The Force Awakens. I hated the movie. I hated a lot of the characters, including Rey, but undeniable, there's a lot of excitement. And then The Last Jedi came, and then The Rise of Skywalker came. And quite frankly, there's a handful of people out there that are big Rey fans, that are big Rey Skywalker fans, but it is not a powerful group of people. And I definitely wouldn't put Rey in the category of beloved Star Wars characters. Let's calm the fuck down. Now, this report, when it came out yesterday, whatever it was, I rolled my eyes a little bit because it is from Daniel RPK. And when it comes specifically to Star Wars stuff, a lot of it is just pretty much, hey, let's just throw some stuff out there, see what sticks. Is this actually a scoop, or is this just guesswork based on, well, we actually know that Starfighter is moving ahead. We actually know that James Mangold think that he is passionate about working about that. What do we know the same thing about Rey's movie? Probably not. Let's throw that out there, see if it sticks. However, it is now being reported in a lot of places, picking up on this report because in large part, when this announcement was made, it was laughed at. You know, when people thought, are you really trying to fucking do this? This will probably be another thing that never sees the light of day. And I'm convinced that Kathleen Kennedy desperately wants this to happen. I'm convinced that a lot of people at Lucasfilm desperately want this film to happen, but they just can't get it right. So here's what this report, this rumor says, apparently. Renowned scooper Daniel Rickman claimed Lucasfilm has decided to shelve the much-awaited Rey Star Wars movie for an undisclosed period. In his latest Patreon update, Rickman noted that the said film, which was first announced at 2023 Star Wars Celebration, has been put on hold once again. However, the insider also confirmed Lucasfilm has not canceled the movie. It's only halted development on the project on a temporary basis. So you see what I mean when it comes to these specific rumors? You really have to be like, okay, we'll see. Hey, it's not canceled, but it's on hold. It's not coming out, but it also could come out later. That's the kind of report it is. But there's a lot of people that are invested in it because it is one of the most embarrassing announcements that they've made, quite frankly. And within months of them making the announcement, the director goes out there and proves exactly what an activist that she truly is, and that she will do everything she wants to do activist-wise when it comes to this movie, because that's what she does with all of her movies, according to her own words. Now, we know that the Starfighter movie is kind of full speed ahead. They're casting people. They do seem active with that. When it comes to James Mangold, I don't know when we're going to see that. Now, he said last year that he was looking for this to be his next movie. Now, of course, in typical Lucasfilm fashion, it's not like the Dawn of the Jedi movie is an original idea. Dawn of the Jedi was a comic book series. Then you did have a novelization that was released as well that came out before Disney bought Star Wars. I think some of the books were published in the immediate aftermath of Disney buying Star Wars, just because it was already sitting there. It had already been cooking, and they released it before they deleted the entire expanded universe. But it would just be more of the same for Disney to copy from a story that's already been told before. Oh, wow, this takes 25, 30,000 years before the movies, guys. We're going to call it Dawn of the Jedi. as if we haven't had a story exactly like that before that you're probably going to make even worse. Wasn't a huge fan of the book in general. Don't necessarily recommend it, but it's right on par for Disney Star Wars. When it comes to this, it is embarrassing that you pulled Daisy Ridley and your activist female director up there on stage over 2 years ago. And we've basically made zero progress other than firing a bunch of different writers. That's the progress that's been made. We've moved on to multiple different writers. At its core, a problem with this movie is nobody wants it. Nobody's invested in this story. Nobody wants to know what happens to Rey after Rise of Skywalker because regardless whether you love The Last Jedi or hated The Last Jedi, nearly everybody despised Rise of Skywalker. People are not interested in a follow-up to this story that turned so many people off and that in a lot of ways just damaged the franchise. Yet here we are, 2 years later, another report that it's on hold, another report that they're going to prioritize other things over this, when the reality is you should just fucking cancel it. I don't think they will, at least not publicly. I still think Kathleen Kennedy wants this thing to happen, but here we are 2 years later and nothing's happening. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.